If you're a salon or spa owner working nonstop, barely paying yourself, and terrified to step away because it might all fall apart, you're not alone. Most salon and spa owners were never taught the business side of this industry, and that makes it feel impossible to get ahead. Welcome to the station, where we give you the structure, systems, and strategies to step into the CEO seat and lead like the legend you are. Hey, welcome back to the station. This podcast is for salon and spa owners who want a business that runs with structure, that makes real profit, and that doesn't depend on chaos to grow. I'm Bree, founder of the Beauty Biz Agency, and I've got my amazing co-host, co-founder, and bestie here with me today. Chandra, how are you?
Doing good. It's been a crazy morning, but back on track now.
Crazy morning this morning. We had a busy day yesterday. My voice is barely hanging on, but we're just going to try to get through this. So today we're going to talk about something that every salon owner, they know is coming, but they don't really prepare for. Everyone just assumes that the holidays are going to be slammed, right? And yeah, they're probably going to be. In most salons, they are. But being booked, it doesn't mean that your business is set up to make the most amount of money possible. So you have to start thinking about Q4. Most owners don't think about this at all. In fact, we just take it for granted kind of in this industry. The ones who do actually have it on their mind, they don't really start thinking about it until maybe late October when the season is kind of already rolling. And by that point, you really have no time to prepare. You're just kind of in that react mode, and reaction, it doesn't scale your profit. The truth is, this quarter could and should be your biggest opportunity, not just because people are spending, they're in that mood to spend, but because the demand is already built in for you. If you have a plan in place and you get that all created now before the rush hits, this season, it can multiply your revenue in so many ways, and your team can actually enjoy the holiday season instead of barely surviving it. This episode is here to help you do that with strategy, structure, and intention. So you walk into the holidays like a CEO, not just the busiest person in the building. Before we get into why and how to plan for an extremely successful Q4, I want to share a story about a salon owner, and we are just going to call her Lauren. She was running a booth rental salon. Every chair was filled. Rent, it was coming in like clockwork. And to most people, it looked like she kind of had it made. But she came to us because she felt really stuck. Her income was capped, completely capped. She had no real connection to her business, and she had no real way to grow anymore. All she had was a group of individuals that was sharing a space, not really a business that was growing under one vision. She wanted culture. She wanted to make an impact. She wanted to build something that could actually scale. So we got to work at the Beauty Biz Agency. We helped her shift into a commission-based model and finally helped her step into the leadership role that she had really been craving for years. She didn't just change her structure. She became the CEO that she always wanted to be. And now Lauren runs a multi-million-dollar salon with real culture, a high-performing team, and a brand that actually means and stands for something. Chandra, what do you think holds owners back from making a shift like that, even when they know that they've outgrown what they've built?
I think sometimes they just don't really know what to do. They don't know how to make that shift or what direction to go in to get to that next level. And I think that's what holds them back. I think they're scared of it and they don't really know where to go.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think the industry has a lot to do with it too, right? Because everybody talks up booth rental and suite rental and all of these things. And so the same way people coming out of school think that that's their only option, I think a lot of salon owners think it's the easy way to go. They just don't realize that there is that capping potential. And when you hit that glass ceiling, there's nowhere else to go. You've hit it. I've hit it. We know booth or suite rental owners that have hit it over and over and over again. And it's really just kind of sad to see that happen. All right. So if you are already out there and you're bracing yourself for the holiday rush, then this is something that we need to talk about. What you actually need to do and put in place before things get crazy. It's not just decorations and cute promos that everybody wants it to be about. It's real stuff that kind of holds your season together. Honestly, the second that October hits, you are already in motion, right? And once that momentum starts, you're not going to have time or really the capacity to stop and clean up what's messy behind the scenes. So before we talk about like offers or marketing or what to sell, I want to walk everybody through 7 areas that need to be locked in before that holiday rush hits. This is going to be your foundation, the stuff that is going to protect your team's energy, really your client experience, your actual profit, not just your bookings. So we are going to start here on purpose because this is what makes everything else work without breaking you in the process. Number 1 is going to be about revenue, retail, and profit goals. If you don't have numbers guiding your decisions, you're guessing. That's all you're doing. And when you're guessing during the busiest season of the year, you can lose control really, really fast. This starts with looking back, right? You need to pull your numbers from the last 2 or maybe 3 Q4s that you've been through. How much did you bring in each month? What percentage of that came from retail? What did you actually keep after expenses, bonuses, product cost, all of that stuff? From there, you need to set real goals for this year, not just, I just want to make more than last year. You need actual targets. How much do you want to generate in revenue? What percentage of that should come from your retail? What is your profit goal? And how many guests do you want pre-booked into January before the year ends? This, my friends, is the difference between showing up and just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's about building something that you can track, something that you can lead, and something that you can scale. Chandra, when we work with owners on setting goals where we kind of help them in that area so much, where do you usually see the biggest gap? And is it the numbers themselves or just that they're not looking at the right numbers when you see a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think usually they don't know what numbers to look at. They could pull reports, but they don't know what reports to pull or what to do with those numbers when they see them. So I definitely think a lot of it is just not knowing what to look for.
Yeah, I think that's right. I hate the misconception in this industry that numbers don't matter. I absolutely hate that. All right, number 2 is offers and your campaign strategy. This is where a lot of salon and spa owners really lose momentum because they confuse being creative with being strategic. Your job isn't to be the most festive salon in the area. It's to be focused. Cute is never going to convert without a system behind it. Salon owners often think of offers as discounts and campaigns as a series of maybe Instagram posts. But if you want Q4 to be profitable and really predictable, these 2 pieces have to work together and they need to be built with intention. An offer is so important. It's not something that you just throw out there to get attention, right? This cute little picture that's just going to get people talking about it. It's an actual tool that you build to support your revenue, your retail, or your retention goals. If your goal is to boost January retention, your December offer needs to include something like a bounce back. If you want to increase retail, your service based offers should pair with take home products. But even the best offer is going to fall flat if it's not supported by a really strong campaign. A campaign is the container that the offer lives inside of. It's how you frame the message, how long it's going to run, how your team talks about it, how you build it into your marketing calendar, and how it connects to what's going to come next. A campaign is what gives the offer meaning. Now, let's talk about bounce backs for just a second because this is something that a lot of people don't understand. This isn't just a card, it's the end of your client gifting campaign and the bridge to your January recover strategy. Your Black Friday sale should never exist in isolation. It should follow your gratitude week content and roll into your 12 days of Christmas push that makes gift cards and retails feel like a no-brainer, right? So they all have to go together. When offers and campaigns are built this type of way together, They're going to give you clear direction in your business. They give your team a focus and they make your content way easier to create. Most importantly, they make your revenue more predictable. Chandra, when you hear owners talk about Q4 promotions, what is maybe a red flag that tells you they haven't built a real campaign? They've just kind of created that offer and shot it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that they don't do that are red flags when it comes to that. But I think the biggest thing is they don't think it through very well. And there's just throwing up some random promotion, some random sale, some just random thing that they think is going to bring in the money. And then they don't train their team. I think those are the two biggest things is like when you create those promotions, you have to actually put a lot of effort into what you're creating, and you need to convey that information to your team in many different ways so that they actually understand what to do with it. And I see it all the time when people are just like, oh, we're just going to run like 20% off retail and just throw it out there. And it has no bearing. There's no goal. There's no basis for it. So yeah,
Yeah,
those would be my
definitely.
red
Sorry, I
flags.
just kind of ramshacked this whole podcast by getting lipstick all over my face, but it is what it is. It needs to be like a domino effect, right? You build one thing, it knocks the next down, 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 so that they all come together and work well. Most people just do offers, or they just do content creation, or they just do discounts or promos, like you said. But really, you've got to have that entire campaign that everything is housed and lived in so that it can all work together. The next step is the retail strategy. Retail is often ignored because it feels really small compared to service revenue. And honestly, the last few years, the retail game has completely changed. But in Q4, retail can't just be a side piece. It can't. It's one of the most scalable and profitable parts of your entire strategy. You've already done the hard work of getting the guest in the door. That's the hard part. Retail is where you are able to increase the value of that visit without increasing time on your books. And that's the way you have to think. That's the mindset that you have to have. But that's only going to work if your retail strategy is really, really structured. You need to know what bundles you're going to be offering, what price points are going to make sense, how you are going to display them, and how your team is going to talk about them. A stocked shelf means nothing if your team doesn't have the confidence to sell it. It's going to sit there. If your signage is unclear or your bundles don't connect to what your guest actually needs, retail is just going to become this dead space instead of revenue. Chandra and I say this all the time. We walk in and see retail bundles from December in April because people haven't been able to sell them. I don't even purchase like retail bundles from distributors anymore. I create my own. Chandra, how do you do this in your salon?
I do a little bit of both. Sometimes it just depends on what the distributors have. Sometimes they do have some really good ones or really good deals on them to where it makes a lot of sense for us to buy it. But what we find works the best with that is we just take some of our top products and we'll literally just have clients pick. If you purchase three of them, you get like a fourth one in there free, or, something simple. And we kind of just let people create their own. We do like a little gifting section on a table and they can make their own gift bag and they can make their own thing. And we just usually kind of, that seems to work the best for us. We've tried to create specific bundles before and some sell, some don't. But when people can just kind of go in and do their own thing and make what they want, it seems to work.
Yeah, that's what we do too. And I think it's really important to keep everybody in mind during this time as well, right? Like you've got people that are buying for teachers, you've got people that are buying for family, you've got people buying for spouses or girlfriends or boyfriends. So make sure that you have bundles at different price points as well, because, kids may want to go buy something for their mom. They're getting their haircut. They know that their mom's going to love that, but they're not going to be able to spend too. And so you've got to be very thoughtful in the way that you do your retail bundles as well. Okay, number 4 is team training. And this one is so important. Chandra brought it up a little bit, but if your team doesn't understand what's happening, they cannot help you lead this season, period. And if the only place your Q4 plan lives is in your head or maybe on a Canva graphic, that's not a plan. That's really like a solo project. Every single person on your team, they should know what the Q4 goals are, what the offers are, how the bounce backs work, how to talk about the gift card promo, and how they're being supported, and also how they're going to be held accountable for all of this. This isn't like this one-time little huddle or get together that you have with your team. This has to be a full-on training. You need walkthroughs, you need visuals, you need language, you need expectations. The more confident your team is, the more consistent they are going to be. Confused teams, they tend to stay very, very quiet. Trained teams, they take ownership. Chandra and I see it every single day working with salon owners. If you want buy-in, clarity is not going to be optional. It's the entire job. And the more that your team buys into the plan, the less you are going to feel like you are dragging everyone up a hill by yourself. Chandra, what's one thing you've seen make the biggest difference in team buy-in, maybe during Q4? Like, what changes when they actually understand the full strategy?
I mean, I think the numbers definitely, them understanding exactly what those goals are that they need to hit and why. Why did we pick these goals? What could we do with this if we reach these goals? And that really helps them buy into it. And once they buy in, I mean, it's a huge difference. Like I know, even in my salon, we're pretty good about really training on anything that we're doing like this, but sometimes we'll be doing a promotion in July and we didn't really do that great of a job and it's a complete dud and it's like does nothing. And then when you do put that effort in, it's like all of a sudden they buy in and they take off and they run with it and they're super excited to talk about it to clients and to hit the numbers and to hit the goals. So definitely I think the numbers and making sure they understand the why behind it. Why are we doing it this way?
This is probably going to make a lot of people mad out there, but it is what it is. People blame their teams constantly. But if you aren't doing your job in training that team, you can't blame them. It's on you, 100% on you. All right, number 5, and this is something that we can go through quickly, but it's schedule and staffing. This is where so many owners kind of create unnecessary stress for themselves. If you don't plan your schedule in advance, your hours, your team rotations, your coverage, because some of you have really big areas, right? You will be the one picking up the slack because people aren't going to show up. People are going to get sick. Things are going to happen. You have to start by looking at when you plan to extend hours, who's going to be available to support you. You need to set clear blackout dates for PTO requests. Decide now if you need maybe front desk coverage, assistance, seasonal support of some sort. Do not wait until you are absolutely exhausted to make any of those decisions or calls. Planning this early is going to protect your energy and your ability to lead your team and business, which is really, really important. Chandra, in your opinion, what should owners be asking their team right now in order to prevent burnout or resentment when this holiday rush hits?
I mean, I think really asking them what kind of maybe finding out what it's been like for them in the past years and how you guys can combat any of those issues that they had that burned them out or they were overworked or they didn't have stuff. Who knows? There's so many things I think when that season hits and people get caught off guard for it. But I think really knowing how you can support them in the best way that you can to make sure that they have a successful season and get through it without being super stressed. I think that's the biggest thing that would be good to find out.
One of the reasons that I brought up scheduling and things of that nature is because this is something that I really, really changed in my salon. I found that my team was super burned out. We were working Christmas Eve. Like, that's insane. So we went through and reevaluated everything and created a set schedule for us that worked to where my team got almost 2 weeks off during the holiday season, right? We gave and take a little. I had to give, they had to give, and we made it work. But now my team gets almost 2 full weeks off during the holiday season because we work a little bit more in the beginning. But we're not killing ourselves either. We're doing it strategically because we are implementing all of the things that we're talking about today. So if that's something you don't have in place, definitely look into it. Your team deserves time with their families for the holidays, but so do you. Number 6 is January momentum. You cannot afford to leave January to chance. You can't. Strong Januaries aren't built in January. They're baked into absolutely everything that you do in December. If your bounce backs, your pre-booking incentives, and maybe your January promos, if they're not ready before Christmas, your team is going to be in trouble. Your guests aren't going to know anything about what's going on, and your momentum is going to disappear very, very quickly. Every December client, they should leave with a reason to come back, whether that is a pre-booked appointment, a bounce back incentive, or a gift card that they plan to use after the holidays. January success is something that you have to start building now, not later. Chandra, why do you think so many owners mentally just kind of stop on December 3rd? And what happens when they do that?
I think a lot of them, kind of what you said earlier, they just hope that the holidays are just going to be great and carry them through. And they just don't even think about the next quarter or the next month after the holidays. I think it's just not even. And then January hits and everybody's freaking out like, why are we slow? Because everybody came in December. So I think it just catches them off guard. I think they're busy and they're just focused on that. And they know that, that last quarter might carry them through. They just don't plan for it at all. And I think then they get, like I said, they get caught off guard and then they're scrambling and wondering why now it's so slow, and instead of planning ahead and making sure it's not slow.
Yeah, I had an owner tell me one time, I enjoy a slow January. And I was like, that's great. That's great for you. I mean, it's not great business, but that's great for you. But what about your team and your employees? Because they still have bills to pay. Like they need money to support their families. And it was kind of one of those aha moments where she was like, I never really looked at it that way, right? Like I'm exhausted from all of this. I just assumed they were too. I assumed they put money back. I assumed they did all of these things, but that's not really how life works. So we really have to make sure that we're not just building up January, but honestly, January, February, Q1 for our team throughout Q4 of the previous year. Number 7 is marketing and content alignment. This is the part that kind of keeps everything moving, and yet it's usually the first to kind of fall apart. You cannot market in real time when your books are full and your team is moving super fast. You need to have all of your emails scheduled, your visuals need to be ready, your content, it needs to be completely mapped out before October even starts. That way, you're not just showing up on social media when you feel inspired. You are leading your audience through the season with purpose. Your content, it's not just about posting to stay visible. It's really about supporting all of the offers that you're creating. It's reinforcing the campaign that you have in place. It's keeping those clients engaged and informed so your in salon conversations are way easier to have and your conversions are way higher. Chandra, we have coached a lot of salon and spa owners. In your experience, what is one mindset shift that helps owners treat marketing like a leadership responsibility and not this last minute task?
I mean, I think it's kind of the CEO like mindset. You have to think about this as a business. It's not just, I don't know, we forget that these are businesses in our industry for some reason. And I think if you're thinking about it like a business and you're thinking about the future and the next quarter and the next quarter and the next quarter, you're lining up that marketing to make sense so that you've got everything planned out and everything's going to hit when it needs to hit. And there's not going to be that scramble and then hope and pray. And I think it's just having that mindset shift like this is a business. The business has to make money and the business has to consistently make money. And so, how do you keep doing that? Keeping that momentum consistent and keeping it going throughout the whole year, not just when it's a scramble and you have a slow month.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that really made me open my eyes when it comes to planning early and planning in advance, because I used to kind of plan Q4, mid Q3, right? Like mid Q3 if I was lucky. But in some of our other businesses, we have to purchase attire, we have to purchase clothing. Well, you have to do that like 6 months prior. So if you're purchasing for fall, we are purchasing beginning of like spring, right? If not, everything's sold out, everything's gone, you can't get anything. And it made me realize that that's how real businesses work. Like they are way ahead when it comes to things. And then they kind of review and adjust and make things stellar as they go through. But it really made me think about things. And we need to start treating this industry that way, just like you said. like other businesses do things. Now that you guys understand why each of these 7 areas really, really matter, let's talk about what to actually do over the next 30 to 60 days. This is not something that you cram into one weekend. You can't do that. And it's not something that you can wait until October to do. We've said that. This is the plan that really is going to give you breathing room and the plan that is going to allow you to lead your business and your team. So here's what needs to happen step by step. Number 1, pull your past numbers and set your new goals. Pull them and set them. Number 2, build 3 to 5 offers that are going to support those goals. These offers need to be built around those goals, not just, this sounds fun, I'm going to try this, right? No, you want to choose offers that are going to drive revenue, increase your ticket average, push retail, or even create retention. So each and every offer needs to include a name, a price point, the service or product that's included, the profit margin, an add-on or upsell opportunity, who it's for, and how it's being marketed. Number 3 is to map out 3 to 4 campaigns that are going to flow well together. Don't think of these as themes. Think of them as structured revenue moments. Campaigns are what give your team focus and your marketing direction. So examples of that, we talked about some Gratitude Week, Black Friday weekend, 12 days of Christmas. All of that stuff is going to be really, really important. Every one of your campaigns needs to have a start and end date, a focus. So the offer, the product, gift cards, whatever it is, email content, social media content, talking points for your team, visuals that are ready in advance, and then put them on the calendar now. Because if it's not scheduled, it's probably not happening. Number 4, build that retail plan. Choose 2 to 3 bundles or gift sets that are going to support your retail goals. Number 5, schedule your holiday team training. Talk about that a little bit. And then number 6 is go ahead and set those holiday hours, create a staffing plan, do time off boundaries. All of that stuff is really important. And number 7 is plan your January strategy. Print those bounce back cards now, like get those ordered, get them printed now so that you are ready to go. Number 8 is schedule that content and get your marketing plan going, like get it done immediately. Chandra, what would you say to the owner who hears us talking about all of this and says, that sounds great, but I'm already overwhelmed just thinking about this?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it all like we're giving you so much time, right? Like you don't have to do it all in a day. You just start with the first basic things like what you went over. Start with step 1. Maybe that takes you a week to figure out. Start, then do the next step. Might take you a week. That way by the time it comes, you're not scrambling to do all of those things like in a weekend. And so, I mean, you can kind of spread it out. Like we do that a lot where we'll, I'll come up with some ideas and then I might have at our next team meeting, we talk about it. We start planning together, get them involved in, hey, thought about these things. Do you guys have any ideas? Can you guys get behind these things that we're coming up with? There's a lot of things that you can do leading up to that are working towards your goal of being ready and having everything in place. You don't have to cram it all in. So I say, like, take your time, think about these things, but don't be scrambling at the last minute, because if you don't start now, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then you're not going to have a successful season.
Absolutely. You have 60 days. The goal is to get it done by the end of September, mid-October at the very, very latest. That is really a lot of time. If you work just a little bit every single day, or at least 3 days a week, I promise you guys, you can get all of this done with no problem. All right. Now that we've kind of laid out that Q4 game plan, let's shift gears for just a second because we have a listener question that came in recently that I really want to get to. The question is, my salon is finally getting busier and I've got a few stylists who are doing really good numbers, but they keep acting like they don't have to follow systems anymore. That happens. I'm all for autonomy. This is the rest of the question. I'm all for autonomy, but how do I get them realigned without it feeling like I'm micromanaging? This is a good question. I think it happens a lot. And I think it's something that you really don't hear about very often. I don't see it on Facebook groups or anything. So this is interesting. When stylists start performing well, they start to feel like maybe they've earned a little bit of space sometimes. And in some ways, maybe they have. But I don't think success exempts someone from the systems that you've created. It should really anchor them in deeper if you think about it. When team members are doing well and you let that structure slide, you are going to create several issues. You are going to lose consistency across the client experience. That always happens, which is going to hurt your brand reputation. And you're also signaling to the rest of your team that performance kind of equals immunity, which is going to hurt your studio culture. So I think in order to re-anchor that, you have to have a conversation immediately. And the conversation isn't you need to start following the rules. The conversation needs to be something like, look, you've built real momentum and that is absolutely amazing. But in this salon, in this studio, performance doesn't mean stepping away from the system. It means leading inside of it, right? And then you shift from correction to collaboration. What is making it hard for you to stick to XYZ? What's missing in the process right now? What do you need in order to feel fully supported so that you can stay in alignment? And here's the piece that a lot of owners miss. You also have to remind them that people are watching them. When you are a top performer, you're not just getting results, you are now visible. You're setting the tone, whether you mean to or not. That's not about putting pressure on them. That's about building the legacy that you want them to build inside of your studio. It's about showing them that they've earned the influence and now they have to use it in a way that's going to lift up your whole team. I think when you treat top performers like leaders, not exceptions, you are going to build a culture that's going to reward ownership, not ego, which is really, really important. And that's where I think you'll start seeing a shift happening in your studio. Chandra, when you've seen maybe this happen with a salon owner that we've coached, where a stylist is doing really great numbers, but slowly stepping outside of the systems, what has kind of helped bring them back in without creating tension or making it feel like a power struggle?
Yeah, I think just really almost just what you said, like really having a good conversation, honest conversation with them. Like you're in their court, you're here for them. You want them to continue to be more successful and to continue to grow. But kind of like what's going on? Like how come you feel like you're not able to meet XYZ, right? And I think that just having that really honest conversation, they know the rules, they've been with you long enough, so it's kind of just sort of bringing things back to where they need to be. I do think too what helps a little with some of this is having, like in my salon, one thing I like to do is having certain perks for stylists once they hit a certain level or certain position in the salon. So like maybe that might be, we do a social media posting calendar. Everybody's required to do it. But if you're 80% booked or you're, at this certain point, you don't have to do it anymore. And so I think giving sometimes little perks once they can get there sort of alleviates some of that entitlement and that ego, because I think they sort of feel like they still have to do all these other things in order to have these perks on the other end, right? And so I think it helps to keep them on track sometimes, but you just got to have honest, open conversations, especially with your masters, because they're the ones that, are really, really cranking there. So making sure that they're supported and they're good, like you said. I think that's it. Just communication. I don't know why a lot of owners are afraid to communicate.
So afraid to communicate. So afraid to communicate. I just don't get it, but that's okay. That was a lot of information today. Here's the bottom line. Being busy is probably going to happen in Q4, right? Almost every salon out there is going to be booked. But the ones that grow, the ones who profit the most, the ones who don't walk into January feeling broken behind, they built their Q4 on purpose. You have to build it with strategy and intention so that you can make the most amount of money, the most amount of profit, and create real momentum that is going to carry you into Q1, even Q2 of the following year. If you aren't leading this season with a plan, you're really just going through the motions. And motion without direction, that's not leading your team or your business. It's really just a recipe for burnout at the end of the day. I don't know why any salon owner would know that they're going to make a lot of money in a quarter, but not want to double or even triple that. And when you have a plan in place like this, that's exactly what you can do. So if you are ready to actually lead this quarter, not just get through it, head over to www.thebeautybizagency.com. You can check out our coaching options and see how we support other owners like you. While you're there, grab some of our free resources to help you start moving in the right direction. If you enjoyed this episode, like it, share it, follow the show, and leave us a review. This is how we get the word out and really start changing this industry one salon owner at a time. Chandra, how can our listeners keep up with the amazing things that we've got going on at the Beauty Biz Agency?
Yeah, definitely check us out on social media. Give us a follow on Instagram or Facebook at the Beauty Biz Agency. You can also find us at Beauty Biz Mentors on TikTok. And we have our we go live on Facebook and YouTube the first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. Central Time. So definitely pop on there. We'll answer your questions live and you can kind of get involved in whatever the topic is we have going on. So we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. That's a wrap, guys. You've been listening to the station where beauty pros become powerful CEOs. Until next time, lead like you mean it, build with strategy, and stop babysitting a business that you were born to run. Now go out there, make bank, run the show, and ditch that chair. And as always, keep slaying those business goals with a whole lot of swagger.